Oh my gosh, it is a crazy time to be a Persona fan right now. Friggin' bleh. Yeah, because this is how I have to start this video. Congrats, Michelle.
Good job.
Yeah, but so, yeah, for all you viewers who are unaware, last night, just out of nowhere, which, I mean, I guess it's not out of nowhere since we knew something along these lines would be coming, but Atlus puts up a website, basically saying 25th anniversary of Persona's coming, and that they've got a lot planned for that, which, you know, if you were around in the hype cycle going up to P5, like, that was already kind of a thing that was around. But this one seems a lot more grandiose.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've got Michelle, otherwise known as Seniors, with me here because of literally who else.
That's me.
Yeah.
That's me. He only has one friend.
I'm so alone. Yeah, but so, in case you guys haven't seen it, their full artwork we have is actually showing every single protagonist, which was a little more common like a couple years back, but kind of faded out like around the P5 cycle. Usually just, yeah, the 3, 4, 5 protagonists. Sometimes with Katone from Persona 3 Portable. But no, they're showing everyone in this one. They've got all the colors kind of represented here. Apparently Persona 2 is orange now, which is wonderful. And apparently we're getting 7 new projects, meaning that can mean whatever. But 7 new projects being announced from the start of September to the end of next year. So yeah, what are your thoughts on that, Michelle? Even though we were literally there when it got announced together, but still, how you feeling?
Yeah, I'm gonna cry. I'm happy.
It's like the
the
year of the gamer, indeed, for us.
We did agree it was. We did agree it was Year of the Gamer. That was an agreement we came to.
I'm just, you and I both, like, feed, like, parasitically off Persona announcements like this. And when it's like
describe it, sure.
I could use much worse descriptors. But just having that kind of cycle of hype and appreciation, kind of just that celebration, it's just like pure elation nonstop. We're balling, we're gaming. And yeah, so throughout this video, we're just kind of going to talk about all our feelings on that, and kind of give a lot of our predictions. Because the first thing we saw, if you look on the website, is the announcement for September, which very obviously seems to be hinting towards something Persona 4 related.
Yeah, so for those who haven't seen the website, basically, yeah, it gives the teaser, and like all of them are like question mark coming soon, except like the 2 that actually have dates. And the first one that has a date, it's the only one that actually has a color to it, which is yellow, and it occasionally does like a little TV static effect.
Yeah.
So, you know, Persona 3 remake confirmed.
Exactly. But honestly, like, we joke P3 remake, but that is a possibility. Like, there is a lot of stuff coming.
I think anything's possible. There's 7 fucking things here.
Just another thing to clarify again for those who haven't seen it yet, and I'll try to like flash photos on screen and actually do editing work this time. But Persona 6 is basically a guarantee to be announced sometime within this period. They basically teased, what is it? All the protagonists we've seen before, and a quote-unquote secret one. And then also, I don't know if you had noticed this one, Michelle. The one where it lists all the mainline games, and it showed 2 secret spots.
2 secrets, yeah. Which, I do like the joke theory that would also be really funny if it actually happens, which is they're just gonna announce Persona 6 and Persona 5 the Royal in at the same time.
Yes!
Let's get it out of the way.
Like, honestly, though, that feels like it's guaranteeing something getting remade. I think something's getting a remake. Something's getting a remake or a remaster. It could be Persona 1 or 2 or whatever. Could be those.
It could be any of them.
It could be anything.
It could be Persona 5. Fuck it. Who cares?
Persona 4 the Golder. Maybe Persona Q3 is going to be mainline.
Yeah. Nah, they're gonna confirm what we've been saying. They're just gonna add strikers to that and make that the 7th Persona.
Yes. Again, though, like we're obviously gonna kind of keep our predictions somewhat grounded, but it's fun to see, like, literally anything is possible.
Yeah.
You know, Atlus, when Atlus doesn't have something to celebrate, they're very hit or miss with how they announce things, but when they do have something to celebrate, they kind of pop off. And also, Atlus West is acknowledging this pretty blatantly.
Yeah.
So we're in the clear.
Yeah, they tweeted about it. Which, you know,
Persona
that's more
6
than they normally do.
Worldwide release, please, please. Pull in SMT5 again.
I'm begging you. But, like, so there's a lot that these could be, because, like, there's like the amount of temper your expectations, but there's also there's 7 things aspect to it, because, like, you know, what I would say is, like, don't expect, like, all 7 of these things to be big new games.
Oh, yeah. Like,
but
I think it was Spencer who mentioned last night to me, Spencer from Shin Megami Tensei Network, please subscribe to him. He was like, oh yeah, one of these slots is guaranteed to be Persona Super Live. And he's right.
Yeah, I think so. But also Persona Super Live is, like, one of my favorite things to happen.
No, yeah,
general. You know.
People might complain about that taking up a slot. I don't care. That's still 6 things.
It's also still, like... And also, Persona Super Live, that's, like, an album you can buy once it's over. You can, like, listen to those live performances, and it's... If you've never watched a Persona Super Live, you owe it to yourself. They are all, like, peak Persona fan, just fun.
Yeah, I would skip school to go to Super Live. Don't skip school, but shh, it's fine. Man, I don't know. There's just so much that could happen, and it's really overwhelming in a good way.
Yeah, because, like, the other aspect, like, I've seen some people being on Twitter is, like, this is gonna be, like, one game, and then, like, a bunch of tiny dumb shit, like mobile games or whatever no one cares about. And I'm like, I feel like there's way too many people who don't have faith in Atlus, even though Atlus tends to, not always, but most of the time delivers. They have a pretty good success rate.
Okay. Here are my 2 things that I feel like are basically off the table for what can be shown, which is, and I could be wrong, but what I feel is, personally, it's not going to be, like, mobile crossovers, because they announce those all the time, whatever.
Yeah.
And I don't think it's going to be, like, I guess, like, stuff off of, like, a TV or something. Like, it's not going to be, like, a manga announcement. I don't think they'd save that for this. They usually just announce that, like, off to the side. But I don't know.
Yeah.
Could happen, I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong, but there's a lot. Could be
I don't know.
anything from Persona 3 Remake to the godsend that they actually finished the Persona 2 anime they started, like, 20 years ago.
Anything's possible.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm just excited that there's, like... I'm excited that there's things to be, like, hyped for again with Persona. Because, like...
Michelle, maybe the other mainline game we're getting is the Trinity Soul game.
Oh, no.
Anyways,
Don't do that.
Continue.
Because, like, for me, I think, like... Because it's been, like... I think, like, especially if you only got into, like, the Persona fandom, like, with 5, I feel like a lot of people kind of don't realize how long it's been since, like, there's been a drought in Persona news, because that hasn't happened. Because, like...
Yeah.
Well, a while back, there was, like... I think Atlus announced, I think it was, like, 4 games at once, which was, like, Arena Ultimax, Q, Dancing All Night, and Persona 5. They all announced, like, together.
Mm-hmm.
Or, like, said, like, they, like, announced these big projects that were happening. Then, like, all those come out. P5 comes out. Only a couple months later, Super Live happens, and that's when...
Dancing.
Dancing and Q2 got teased.
That's...
Both of those came out, and then not too much longer later, we hear about Royal and Strikers. So it's been a while since there's been, like, over 6 months of a lull, or at least, like, I don't even know if since, like, P5 came out, I don't think we've definitely not gone a year without, like, something to look forward to.
No, like, I mean, if you want to be technical about it, like, Joker's announcements for Smash felt like death waiting for.
That was a bigger announcement than Q2 in my books.
Yeah,
so.
I don't know. Q2 gave us the funny Cappy logo.
It did.
Man, I don't know. Like, was P5 not P5 dancing? Was P4 dancing 2015?
I think.
Yeah, so even with that, like there were still like games coming out throughout that period, and then 2016 was just the friggin', I guess, turning wheels of P5 making its entrance.
Oh, so yeah, 2015 for P4D. Just check.
Yeah. So it's, I don't know. Atlus just has kind of been going off. Like, I think people devalue that. Atlus does have a lot okay, granted, people during COVID were saying that games weren't coming out. So that's, I don't trust people's opinions on gaming. Like,
yeah.
I'll just stop it at gaming because I think it's funnier. But
and also, even though this is all about like Persona, it's also worth mentioning like Nocturne and SMT5 are both happening this year. One already happened.
Oh yeah, no,
so,
Nocturne
like, you know.
start like earlier this year was really neat. SMT5 just November, right?
Yep.
Friggin' that's so close. SMT5 looks so good.
Pretty fun.
Thank you, Atlus. I love you.
It's great.
Man, so I don't know. I guess finally we get into kind of some like proper predictions.
Yeah, specifics.
I think the one that people, I don't know if it'd be this soon. It could. An announcement for this could honestly be this soon because they've got the engine set up, and this is something that you and I are a lot more faithful in happening than most people. Yeah, Persona 5 Strikers 2.
Yeah, that's like, other than Persona 6, which is the obvious, there's a pretty good chance that will happen. Strikers 2 is my most wanted thing because Strikers was everything I wanted and far more. Like, I had high hopes for that game. You know, there's all the people who are like, it's just Persona Muso. And I'm like, no, you don't understand, though. You don't get it. They put a DILF in the Phantom Thieves.
That's the thing, because it's like, I feel like a lot of people who, I guess, are newer might think like, oh, they're not going to make like a sequel to a spin-off. Like, it's whatever. Like, it's a sequel. It's already a sequel anyways. And I'm like, okay, Persona 4 Arena already got a sequel. Arena not even having been, like, that huge of a game, like, I guess relatively, but still, like, it had enough where they were going, yeah, we want to make this again. And you could be like, oh, it's a different genre. Even still, all of Atlus, or not all of Japan, whenever that game came out with Strikers, they were like, oh yeah, give us a sequel, we really want a sequel. And then the devs were like, oh yeah, sequel would be banger, we totally just want to do more. They love the Phantom Thieves, and I relate. So they're willing to do more.
Also, yeah, like, there's 2 Q games. P3 and 5 Dancing, in terms of story, are technically sequels to P4 Dancing. Like, every Persona spinoff has had a sequel.
Yeah, I don't know. It's a lot.
So why stop at the best one? I don't know. They didn't make DLC for it, because, you know, fuck me. But, you know.
I don't know. Like, I'm excited. No, yes, Strikers 2 definitely seems like, I don't know if I'd say an inevitability, but more likely than not, weirdly enough.
Also worth mentioning that Strikers did become the best-selling Persona spinoff. It beat PQ.
Oh yeah, by a good margin.
Yeah, like, easily.
So,
and even after taking a goddamn year to get localized, it still did really well in the West, and also don't take a year this time.
Yeah, man. You know, Strikers is good, it's a banger, it's worth it. I don't know, another one that's definitely, like, a good possibility is Persona 5 Arena. Many people we know are extremely hyped about that. Hi, Ash. But that's something that I'm definitely extremely excited for if that comes out. Because, I'll try to avoid, like, explicit game spoilers for the most part. But, like, there's some characters in Royal that I'm like, please put them in a fighting game. I want this. I need this. Yeah. Or even Strikers. Give me Sophie. I want Yo-Yo Girl.
Yeah, I'll main Zenkichi. Like, that's the thing, you know this about me. I don't really play, like, traditional fighting games. I'm one of those Smash players.
Oh, you'll start. You'll start.
But the thing is, I will, like, I was already hyped for Smash Ultimate, and I played it a ton, but, like, I think what especially pushed me to want to get serious about the game and put, you know, like, the 2,000 hours into it that I have was the fact that Joker Persona 5 was in it, and that made me cry. So yeah, make a fighting game that's not just Joker, but all of them. Yeah, I will actually learn to play a fighting game if I can main on or any of the Phantom Thieves or any other Persona character I love.
That's the thing, and maybe it's the power of our addiction or just the power of Persona in general, but like stuff like that can just bring people into genres. Like there are a lot of people I would have never seen getting into rhythm games, and it's like, oh yeah, P4 dancing, yeah, sure, I'm in. I'm done.
Persona got me to buy a Muso.
Yeah. And you're gonna play Hyrule Warriors with me. Like, this is... Never mind. I don't know. There's obviously a lot of P5 stuff on the table coming forward. Oh yeah, friggin' a Royal anime seems like... I've heard people kind of push back against that. Maybe not a full anime. I hope it's not like the Golden Anime. Please. Please. But whether it's like... Yeah, whether it's like some OVAs like kind of third semester, just like little shorter, well not shorter, but like, I guess hour-long episodes, maybe a couple of those for third semester. Or, you know, my dream idea, definitely
Redo
not,
the whole thing.
That's the thing, definitely not gonna happen, but it definitely will, because me saying that gives it a higher chance. That's how fate works. Please, get an actual, like, competent studio that doesn't work its people to death like Cloverworks. Not like Cloverworks. No, they're the ones working people to death. Don't get Cloverworks to do this one. They did the last one. Just give us a good P5 anime. Make it 2 seasons so they actually have time to tell the story.
Yep.
And let me pop off. Make it a... Do it. Do
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, if they just redid the whole anime, also dubbed it within a reasonable amount of time, yeah.
Yeah, get Kyoto Annie to do it. Or like the... I forget the name of the studio who did Toradora and Anohana. Get someone. Make it a banger. If you're doing it, Atlus, I'm looking at you. Please, I'll pay you.
I don't know. Yeah, something anime related, whether it's that or like a P1 and 2 anime, something like that would be just sick.
Well, that's the thing, because I was mentioning before, I don't know if you've seen the trailer for the P2 anime, because that, like, was a thing that was planned way back, and they just never actually made it. They had a trailer, but, like, obviously, much more of a long shot, but it's even stuff like that, it's like, you can't fully say that's off the table based on how they're showing all this off. I don't think that's happening, but still.
Yeah, because, like, even way back P5 coming out 20th anniversary, like, yeah, like some of the advertisements 20th anniversary Persona, it was all the school logos just like they're doing now, but like it was clearly focused around 3, 4, and 5. This time though, like, yeah, Naoya, Tatsuya, and Maya, they're in the main art.
They made like new renders for all of them.
Yeah, new renders and merch for all of them.
I think this is the first new art we've gotten of Naoya in like 5 years, maybe more. Persona 6 and 7 confirmed.
Yep.
But there's a lot. Personally, one thing I'm hoping for, that, again, kind of one of those long shot ideas, but Persona 1, 2 Innocent Sin, and 2 Eternal Punishment, all in a collection, HD remastered, put it on consoles, put it on Steam, whatever. Just that as like a trilogy of games sold together. Ooh, please.
If Atlus single-handedly has the power to kill the Persona 1 and 2 meme doesn't exist, they can get rid of that.
Please stop the unfunny jokes. Please, Atlus, you can do it.
They could kill Goro Akechi. The pancake joke will be gone forever. That's announcement number 7.
I mean,
the public execution of Goro Akechi.
I mean, all I'm saying is, as much as we joke about that, I'm pretty sure Persona 5 Royal single-handedly killed the Morgana go to sleep meme.
We did it.
Because I haven't heard people mentioning that much since that game came out, since he stopped doing it.
We finally did it, fellas.
Morgana
now the meme is fuck Morgana.
Oh man. Next SMT game, remove Mara so people can't make the joke. But add back Terminator. And then we're good.
I hope that one of these announcements is showing us a picture of chairs again. That was my favorite.
That would be awesome. It's just 6 of them with a green background. We're back, boys.
Like, because for me with like the OG trilogy, I think like just putting them out there to exist to be played would be great, because you can't really play them very well right now. I'm lucky to own a Vita and have just bought all of them.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like the PSP version of Eternal Punishment doesn't even have like a dub, or not a dub, but like a English translation.
A translation. Yeah, so like I would love it if they were just like, yeah, full HD remake of Persona 1.
Yeah, so I'm fine with whatever. Like, I know you're still playing through P1. I've beaten it twice already, working on that video, which is still coming, I promise. But like P1 has a lot to it that if it did get like a proper remake, it honestly could be one of the best Persona stories. Like, there's a lot going for it if presented the right way. What do you?
I do want.
No, you say it. You say it. You think it's so tough.
Okay. I was gonna ask, in your humble opinion, do you think out of these 7 announcements, do you think there's a chance that any of them are just like, any of the announcements will basically just be like, yeah, here's a straight port of Persona games just to Steam or Switch or whatever?
Probably. I feel that's more likely.
Because I'm okay with that.
Yeah, I don't mind. It's still like freaking more people getting to play these games. It's awesome.
If I can own every Persona game on Steam, if I can mod everything that's wrong with Persona 3 FES and actually have fun with the game, then hell yeah.
Okay, that's the thing, because like, I saw someone posting today, it's like, yeah, I hope none of these are ports, because ports are basically meaningless when emulation exists. And I'm like, while there are exceptions to this, very clear exceptions, especially some recent ones, more often than not, ports are going to run and function a lot better than any emulation you try to run with a game.
Yeah, and the other thing with, and also like, you know, a native port will always, it's also easier to run than an emulator. You don't have to know anything about emulation. You don't have to get it. And also like, emulating PS4 games isn't that easy, you know? It's not like, oh, yeah, just emulate P5R if you don't have a PS4. It's like, no, it's not that easy. You know, like, having native ports... Also, there are people who don't know much about emulation. People who don't do emulation much. People who just don't want to. Like, for me...
There are people who don't have systems that can even run a lot of emulations. Like...
Yeah, like, I've played through games on emulators, but I am way more likely to play it if I can play it officially and properly, not only because they tend to function better, but also just it feels better.
Yeah.
Kind of a psychological thing, I guess. But, you know, like, you know, it's the reason why, like, anytime, like, I see someone be like, why do you care about Mother 3 getting translated? It exists, just emulate it. I'm like, that's not the point.
Yeah. It actually gets it out to more people being able to experience it, and actually having it in an official capacity makes a difference. But yeah, I don't know, if they just port certain games, whether it's like Persona 4 Arena, like P3, whatever, like, I don't mind, or P1, 2, whatever. Just Atlus, the ball's in your court.
The dream that Atlus won't do, because, you know, Atlus Sega, would be basically that just one of these announcements being like, everything, it's all coming, it's all of it. It's all there.
Just save us one spot to give us like 10 different things.
Like, I mean, in terms of ports that I'd also appreciate, I think another port that'd be nice, just so again more accessibility in our current year, the Q duology.
That'd be cool.
And also Dub 2.
Yeah, please. I will say real quick, we can go more on that in a sec, but I did just think where you were like, yeah, just everything in one announcement. It makes me think of the Nintendo Direct things where they're like, yeah, here's our little indie highlight showcase, by the way, and this is one of the announcement slides. they're just gonna friggin' flash by like 10 different things we can't comprehend.
Montages all the Persona games.
Yeah.
I mean, the other dream is if like they put this, I mean, this would be like maybe a dumb business decision because these games are all, you know, really long. But if for like even if it was just like 1 through 4, if they just made a Danganronpa Decadent style collection and put it on Switch, I think I'd cry.
And then we get Persona 1 through 5 Summer Vacation RPG board game.
Persona 5S, yeah.
Yeah, please. You know, you can't you can't just say that. Oh man. There's just so much. I'm like, my brain's going in circles if you guys can't tell.
Yeah, crying.
Oh, man. But yeah, like, it honestly could be like Switch ports, just more Steam stuff, whatever. I'm hoping for the best. And then obviously Persona 6. That's like, yeah, that's a thing. That's coming.
So what would you feel if Persona 6 got announced and it was a story focused around family and a big ass tree?
You know, I sat there, I thought about this, and you know, I don't have an ego. You know this, but
sure.
If that if that happened though, I would start to question if I was some kind of mythological god. Or if I just should probably get hired at Atlus as a writer. That may also be just as valid.
That'd be funny.
Yeah, because for those unaware, I was writing a story initially that was like a couple years back. It was like not a Persona fan fiction, but it was just kind of like a what if kind of Persona style story. And a lot of what I wrote in that was before Royal, and then third semester had way too many similarities to what I had conceptualized that it was like weird, including like specific villains being the same.
Yeah.
And so the current story I'm writing, it's not explicitly a Persona thing, but it's very inspired. Yeah, if it's just that, I'm gonna question a lot and like put a new password on my Google Docs.
I do like also the other theory, by the way, that Persona, because of the 25th anniversary logo, Persona 6 is gonna be white.
Yeah. Again, I like my little thing about it where it's like, yeah, if Persona 6 doesn't get announced, they just do the Kingdom Hearts logo thing where a small section of it is just missing, and it's just a black void. They duped us all.
I guess, like, because...
the thing behind the secret door is just a middle finger.
Perfect. Because I was gonna say, like, for, like, games that we know, like, jack shit about, like, Persona 6 is, you know, basically a guaranteed, like, 99% chance it happens.
Yeah.
Like, so I don't really do, like, big predictions for stuff like that, because, like, how do you talk about something like that doesn't exist? Yeah. I mean, other than the people on Twitter who go, like, yeah, just make it have better writing this time. And I'm like, no, fuck you.
Make it worse.
Yes. I feel like the one thing that I've kind of wanted from a Persona game for a bit that I just think would be cool if they decided to do this, because only one Persona game's ever done this. If the main protagonist this time is actually a woman, I'm here for that.
That's the thing, because like a lot of people have messaged me being like, oh yeah, like how would you feel if there was a male and female like protagonist option? And like, if they can make it work, that's cool. But I feel like in execution, that might make a lot of the stuff with the characters less fleshed out in terms of presentation and kind of like structure.
Yeah.
Like, I don't care if it's a boy or a girl. A girl would be awesome, but I would rather they just stick to one. Whichever that be.
Yeah, I'm fine with whatever. I feel like... Because, like, I feel like there's far too many people who either didn't play the game or just don't think about how much effort actually went into making Femc a thing for P3. Like, she is a very different experience, and a lot of that was in service of making the plot work great and making all of these characters feel even more fleshed out because of the way they interact with you differently.
And you also have to note, like, that would not have been possible if it was not on the PSP, where they had to scale back a lot, such as like way less 3D stuff, none of the like animated cutscenes. Like it had to be toned down quite a bit for it to be feasible to make that an option.
Yeah. Another thing with like the writing with like the gender of your protagonist is like whenever Royal first got like teased and they showed Sumi, and some people are thinking maybe it was a female protagonist before we actually knew her role. Like that, like P5 with a female protagonist would be really neat, but I feel like people undervalue the fact that P5 is a game where the gender of your protagonist does matter because of a lot of the villains you fight and a lot of the stuff that happens in that story. Like,
yeah,
Kamoshida arc is very different if you're not playing as Ren Persona.
Yeah, it would be an infinitely, that's already an uncomfortable arc. I don't think anyone would want to play that arc as a woman.
No.
That would be a little too much.
But yeah, so like, I don't know, I guess that's like my one thing with Persona 6 is if they were just like, yeah, we're gonna give you a female protagonist. It'd also be really funny if they still made her straight, so you had to date guys.
I mean, honestly, I'll take it.
I know you would. I want to see that small. I want to see that small, sad corner of the Persona fandom lose their minds that they can't date the girls. But I don't know. I'm all here for whatever Persona 6 does.
The waifu wars will finally reach their end. It's time to argue over the guys now.
Let's do it. I've been doing it for years.
Yeah.
I
don't know. P6 could be anything.
Yeah, P6 is banging. Okay, here's my question. Do you think that they will change up the gameplay drastically? Like, because I know there's some people who say, like, yeah, Persona should go more action-oriented, which I don't think so. I like it being turn-based. Like, because for me, I'm just kind of like, as far as, like, big mainstream RPG, like, JRPGs now, so many of them are not turn-based. Dragon Quest is gonna kind of be getting away from that a bit. Final Fantasy's abandoned it. Xenoblade's kind of another one that's like action-based. I'm like, I like that there is a big mainstay of JRPGs now that is turn-based. I know we have SMT as well, but I'm also fine with Persona staying with that because Persona is like a very interesting flavor of that kind of combat that I love.
It may sound kind of weird putting it this way. Persona combat, I guess, like 3 onwards, like, they obviously play different, but they still kind of have a general similar, like, structure to them. I can see P6 maintaining a lot of P5's combat, but in the best way possible, I say this, adding some kind of gimmick to it. As weird, like, I can see them expanding it in the same way as, like, I guess you have, like, smirking in, like, SMP4 or stuff like that. Like, just something that adds a unique tinge to it.
Yeah, because like one thing I don't think they'll bring back, just because it's very Phantom Thief, is like the heavy stealth elements and like hold up kind of stuff. Like that's very Phantom Thief. So like I wouldn't be surprised if those mechanics were either. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if those things were like heavily changed, or stealth in particular was just kind of like mostly out. But like whatever they want to do with something like that, I'm fine with. All I will say, for the love of God, do not bring back Shuffle Time. No.
Okay, honestly though,
Demon
like
negotiation, you geniuses.
With that note of like less stealth, it could be interesting having it like where people are like, yeah, we want more action-oriented stuff. I'm not saying turn it into an action like RPG like that, but if they did add more like, I guess, I don't know the best way to describe it, kind of like you properly like charging in a way, like for the actual like dungeon exploration. However it comes in, just like having more fluidity and kind of power in that section before you get into the actual fights. It sounds super vague, but like, I don't know, they could experiment with that a bit.
The way you're describing it, I kind of imagine it like sort of like running around like the overworld of like running around like in Strikers and getting into battles.
Yeah.
And then once you actually engage with an enemy, it goes turn-based.
Which Royal definitely had more stuff, obviously, like aside from ambushes, where it's like different things you can do when confronting enemies will like cause different things to happen once you get into the fights, but like if you add more interactivity to that, there could be a lot more ways to expand on that idea. Just give us a grappling hook again.
Yeah, that's what we're asking for in reality.
Anyways, let us be cowboys in this game. I just don't, no plot reason. I want to be a cowboy.
I want to be a cowboy. Here's a question then. Or go ahead.
Well,
You talk.
I was thinking, like, it is notable to think about, like, obviously people are like, oh yeah, P5's like the most stylistic Persona game, whatever. But it might be jarring. I wonder how they're going to handle the style element in terms of design. Because, like, P5 was a unique case where, like, in every single game prior, they go into, like, whatever other world, if there is an other world. And they're just kind of the same. At most, in P4, they put on glasses. And then in P5, it's like a complete shift of rip off your mask, like, whole new costume, like, a whole new persona. But
I don't get it.
I don't, like, would they do another thing kind of similar to a whole, like, costume look change? And if not, like, I wonder if people would find it underwhelming? I don't know.
Yeah. Because I will say one thing that will be kind of weird, because I assume they keep doing it. I assume the next Persona game will have a different form of summoning, but also,
they're gonna punch themselves in the heart.
Oh, but like also like masks are kind of the perfect symbolism for this, so it's gonna be kind of sad to watch that go. And again, 6 games before they thought of that.
That's the thing. I don't envy, like, the Persona devs having to try to one-up P5, if at all, but, like, P5 does have the most, like, by definition of, like, the psychology of, like, Personas and Young Game psychology and all that, like, all the stuff it's based on. P5 is the best representation of those concepts in style and execution by a mile. The closest it gets other than that is, like, I guess P1. So
yeah, because that's the thing, because like it's kind of funny, like, because I've seen on Twitter, because there was like that interview that happened that kind of went out like pretty much like right before this. I saw circulating Twitter, which was like someone at Atlus, I forget who, saying like, yeah, we're planning on doing P6, especially after SMT5, but like it's gonna be a challenge to like one up P5, and what I found interesting, and like I liked a bunch of the people saying like, maybe don't, I kind of agree with this, which is like, don't have the mentality of trying to one up P5, because like that can often lead to more disappointment than just trying to make something very different. But one, that's how every Persona game works, and two, like, I do find it funny people being like, nah, don't bother trying to one up P5, just make something like good and unique. And I'm like, yeah, but this is the fandom that constantly compares these games and tries to figure out which one's the best.
Yeah.
Like all the time. Like, it's like one of like the biggest talking points is like, hey, here's why P3 is better than 5. So.
Well, that's the thing, because like, regardless on your thoughts of like P5, that is a game that's very grand in scope. Like, despite it being a game that just takes place in Tokyo, I mean, it takes place in Egypt too, and Hawaii. But like, it's a very large feeling game in terms of both plot and actual, like, I guess the setting of it. And Strikers, you literally just going all across Japan. But I don't know, like, I'm intrigued. I want to know what they're gonna do, and I'm excited.
The way I see it is that they don't necessarily need to one-up Persona 5, but they do need to follow it up well. Because, like, at this point, like, there are the people who, say, P5 overrated or whatever, but, like, no matter your opinion on this game, I think it is physically impossible to deny that Persona 5 is easily the most iconic Persona game, and is now one of the most iconic JRPGs ever. Just period. Like, it is...
Yeah.
Everyone knows it. It's in, like, this game is now in Smash Bros. Alongside, like, the hero from Dragon Quest, Cloud Strife, fucking Shulk, Ness, all these classic JRPG characters. Joker is in there alongside them. So P5, it is now on a very high pedestal that I think it will be difficult for them to truly be able to follow up. But I look forward to their attempt, and I think they can do it.
I remember going to school and Persona wasn't a thing that I, like, saw people talking about. But here we are, and it's a pretty... There's a lot. There's a lot to celebrate. Atlus is on, like, a whole new scale now.
It is definitely a very because I was there, kind of for Persona's 20th anniversary.
I was there.
I had gotten into P4 a little bit before Dancing came out, and I loved the game. But yeah, it was like this weird kind of obscure series, not like the most obscure thing. People had heard of Persona 4 especially.
It
but
was
like,
niche though.
It was a niche little series, and it's very cool and interesting now in this post P5 world that like yeah, it is one of the JRPGs. It is easily surpassed SMT at this point.
That's the thing. Like I saw someone being like, "Oh yeah, like Persona is still a relatively niche series." I'm like,
bullshit.
is it? I don't think
I
that's
feel like-
true. It's in like Nintendo Directs and like Smash and is like regularly known. Like
this
oh,
like
oh man.
yeah, that's the thing. Like it is this. I feel like the second you enter Smash Bros, you are no longer niche.
That's the thing. Like it. I'd still say you can make arguments for some Smash series like that, but I would be hard pressed to find someone who is like knowledgeable about games. In the past, I could see someone being like, "Oh, what Persona?" Like maybe like vaguely heard of it. Now it's like, "Oh yeah, obviously it's the annoying people on Twitter."
Yeah, you got it. That's us.
No, but it's I don't know. Atlus has a lot to live up to, and I give them the best hope and luck.
I look forward to it.
Anyways, yeah, P6, P5 Arena of Anime, 1 remake, 2 remake, whatever. Please, 3 now.
Yeah, I guess real quick, because I was gonna ask this before. I want your opinion.
Hmm?
So, you know, obviously, at least one or two of these will be spin-off games.
Yeah.
If it's not like Strikers 2, whatever, but let's say one of these is a new Persona spin-off and it's a new genre of video game. What genre do you want Persona to tackle?
All right. So I've said this a couple times before. And, you know, people might be like, that's so cheesy, that's so stupid. The dancing games already exist. Shut up. I want a Persona racing game, please.
That'd be kind of funny and sick, and I'd play it.
I just want another friggin' banger racing game from Sega that isn't Team Sonic Racing, please. I don't know, just give me a good racing game, or like a... I love the idea of a board game. Just give me Fortune Street Persona.
If they did that, I mean, legit, if they fucking Witcher 3 did it, if they make a standalone card game of Tycoon where you just get to play as Persona characters and it has online, I'll buy it. I'll play it forever. Well, it'll become my new most played game.
What's the name of that game on Steam where it's like all the different like crossovers playing poker?
Oh, Poker Night?
Yeah. Just do Poker Night, but it's all the different Persona Pro tags. And it's got a story and campaign and it's canon.
I feel like, though, my dream that I think would be really sick, so sort of like a turn-based type combat, like, you know, Persona, as you do. But if they made like a Persona game that was like a roguelike dungeon crawler, that would be the ultimate way to ruin my life.
Oh no, Michelle.
How?
You can't just say roguelike Persona, because now I'm just imagining a non-stop chase down like the TV world and Tartarus and like different Mementos palaces, running through all these rooms, and then all of a sudden I'm gonna be in like a Catherine level, and I'm gonna lose all my life.
You can pick like 4 characters, build a team, and go.
Oh,
yeah.
Is that what Q3 is gonna be?
Yeah. Yeah, because for those who don't know this about me, looking at my Steam library, 335 hours in The Binding of Isaac, 127 in Darkest Dungeon. Where's Spelunky? Where is it? There it is. 166 in Spelunky. I really like roguelikes.
Yeah.
Fucking 117 in FTL. So if Atlus makes a fucking roguelike Persona game, I will die.
Boy can dream. I don't know, any other thoughts or predictions or guesses or hopes or whatever you want you give Atlus a kiss? Do you think Lynn will be at Super Live?
Ooh, I don't know. But
Oh, frick, do you think one of the announcements is gonna be them releasing the full version of Colors Flying High?
Yo, you know what? If that's one of the 7, I'm fine with that. Please actually release that goddamn song.
Oh man, what were you saying though?
Well, I was gonna say, I think my big hope and dream in terms of a prediction. So they got like a fucking, they got these pre-orders for all the sick merch they have. That's all really cool, and I want all of it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just saying, if they want my money, if they want to make fucking Persona fucking sex robot, I'll buy it. I don't care how much it costs. Modeled after Joker. Thank you and good night. That's all I want. 25 years of Persona have led to this moment.
I had more pleasant expectations of what you were gonna say. I thought maybe you were gonna go down the angle of like, oh, they're gonna do like a Pokemon Center type thing and have like an Atlus store like physically in some place, and it'd be awesome. Which is overly ambitious, but like, it wasn't that. But to each their own. Like Persona 6, Persona Sex.
Yeah.
It's a different kind of fighting game. Oh man, yeah, I'm really excited. 25 years of this series, best series ever. That's the fact. Look on Wikipedia.
Mm-hmm. Wikipedia will tell you that.
But yeah, I think that's about it. We somehow didn't talk for 5 hours, but we're probably gonna talk for 5 when we get off call anyways. So
it's a banger.
Yeah. Anyways, then
Strikers 2, please.
Yeah, please, freaking anything. Atlus, I keep saying it. Balls in your court. Balls in your nuts.
So yeah, I guess to end, other than 6, what is your most wanted game? For me, it's Persona 5 Strikers 2.
Oh man, that's a hard question. P6 is probably the number 1 for me.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, Strikers 2 would be a banger. Especially if it has like proper. I already like how the game plays, but like really in-depth Muso combat, I would be floored.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Arena would be awesome. But also P1 through 2 remakes. I kind of.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways, I want the Persona 5 Royal anime that's done start to finish. But in a reasonable sense, I want P5 Arena.
Yeah.
All right. And any last words before you perish?
Persona sex bots. It's happening. They're not gonna make one of Aigis though.
every character but her and Sophie. Yeah, good place to end.
They won't announce. Yeah, they won't announce that. They won't announce Labras.
Oh no. Anyways, thanks for watching. Buy my Oziach merch that totally exists. I don't know. Subscribe to.
That's the secret on the website. We figured it out.
Oh frick!
It's gonna be an Oziach render.
I don't like this future.
Aww.